Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crypto Conversation. This is my weekly market sentiment report when I look through the wonderful world of crypto Twitter to see what the most important data points and narratives are for the week ahead. And there's a lot happening today, as you're probably aware. So we're about to get into it. As always, the best place to watch this is on the Brave New Coin YouTube channel, because I'm going to use some visual references and some tweets and so on. But of course, you can just listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify as well. Just before we get into it, please welcome our show sponsor, Nexo. If you're ready to grow your wealth with Nexo, they are the world's leading digital asset institution, and you can earn up to 12% on your digital assets with Nexo's high yield savings account. So they have quite a few enticing features as well. They are compounding interest paid out daily. There are 18 available cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, many stable coins, and more. Plus, there are 3 fiat currencies accepted: the pound, the euro, and USD. There's up to 375 million in insurance on Nexo's custodial assets. Top-ups and withdrawals are available at any time, and there are, of course, 0 fees for using the Nexo Earn Suite. So, hey, if you want to get involved or learn more, just go to nexo.io, and that, of course, is spelled Nexo.io. And now it's on with the show. Okay, here we are over at bravenewcoin.com, and we can see Brave New Coin says Bitcoin is around about 45,000 US, and ETH is just a little bit over 3,000 US on the Coin360 heat map. It looks like this. And on the live trading view Bitcoin chart, so you can see this is the 30-minute chart, 45,700. We did briefly get up to above 46K earlier today, a few hours ago, and then we had a little bit of a red candle here, and that is because of this. So you probably know that the US Senate has been trying to pass this massive infrastructure bill, and one of the things making the bill contentious or holding it back was this crypto tax provision, right? So it's a little bit hard to explain, but kind of the nutshell is if the bill is passed, which it has been just in the last couple of hours, basically it puts the onus on anyone building, developing, innovating in the crypto ecosystem in the US. It puts the onus on them to provide quite draconian KYC information and tax information on all users and developers. And yeah, I mean, the general feeling is it's not workable, and it is going to drive innovation out of the US. So this has been it's been going on for the last week, really. But so Jack of Twitter and Square, he puts it like this, basically, right? He says, forcing these reporting rules on Americans who develop software and hardware and who mine and secure the network, or who run nodes to build resilience and efficiencies, is simply an impossible ask that will drive development and operation of this critical technology outside of the US. So that's kind of the crux of it, right? And it's interesting, you're seeing politicians from both sides of the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, either attacking crypto or trying to defend crypto. So you got Ted Cruz. Surprisingly, he is a big defender of crypto. So yeah, that's cool to see. I wouldn't have picked that, but it's just interesting to see. It's not a bipartisan issue at all, right? Now, so one of the narratives, this has all just happened, in the last 2 hours, so it's all kind of playing out. But the Zero Hedge headline, they went with the crypto amendment fails in Senate after Senator Shelby insists on more military spending. And so Jack, again, he's agrees with this narrative: amendment killed to get more military spending. So what does that mean? So apparently what happened is Senator Shelby, he's a Republican from Alabama, he objected to, basically there was a compromise amendment that the idea was to kind of clarify the bill. So, not everyone, like open source developers and node operators, they would be taken out of the bill. But unfortunately, Shelby has objected to this compromise, apparently because he didn't get his own amendment to get an additional $50 billion in defense spending. So based on that, he's against everything else. And so that means there's no compromise. The amendment is dead, and Shelby is retiring at the end of this term, FYI. Now, what is really going on? So Ryan Selkis of Masari, he says a source in DC tells him that Senator Shelby's objection had nothing to do with defense provisions, but rather Wall Street objections, where he has deep donor ties. And as discussed, yes, he's retiring and wants to place staffers in high-paying jobs. So, yeah, I mean, just under this, someone's replied here with, I guess this is a donor list for Shelby, and you can see Apollo Global Managed, Citadel, MetLife, Goldman. So yeah, possibly some big bank donors there. So look, I think the broader picture here is, yeah, I guess there's been this, what do you want to call it? There's always been a fight brewing, right? Everyone knows that there's been a fight between, I suppose, the regulators and decentralized open source protocols, and there's always going to be this tug and pull. And to a certain extent, regulation is good because it's going to encourage new investment and make adoption easier, all that kind of stuff. But the regulation has to be done right. You've got to get the balance right between compliance and fostering innovation. So I think that's kind of the concern. What's interesting, and I agree with Matthew Graham from Sino Capital when he says, usually I tend to think people overstate the significance of things, but I think we are underestimating the importance of crypto's political coming of age. And that's really what's happened in the last week. You've seen, crypto, which of course is based on decentralization. You're still seeing all the different entities in crypto effectively mobilize together to pull their resources to some extent and take on the formidable US political system. So an example of this is that there were 40,000 calls made to senators in the US by Americans supportive of sensible crypto regulation, all done in the last week. So that's amazing. That's great to see. So Kobe, Mr. Crypto Cobain, just gives a shout out here to Jerry Brito, Jake Shavinsky, and Narej, all leading the charge really on behalf of Coin Center to engage with the politicians in Washington, if you like. So you got to give a little bit of I guess a lot of appreciation to these guys just for putting in the hard yards and what can be quite a thankless task, I would imagine. And Michael Casey makes the point, sort of what I was talking about. Maybe this debate will finally open people's eyes to what's really going on with crypto. The fault lines don't cut left versus right or even government versus business. It's about decentralized networks versus centralized incumbents. So if you want to frame it that way, perhaps it is kind of, a Wall Street with various politicians in their pocket, making sure that, crypto doesn't eat their lunch just yet. So I don't know, is that a paranoid reading of the situation or not? I'm not sure. So I think that is quite a good framing of the debate. All right, well, so that is that. So to recap, crypto compromise rejected. Infrastructure bill probably going to pass. It's, I don't know, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, and they just want to get a few billion in tax revenues by shutting down innovation crypto innovation in the US seems a bit short-sighted, but that's where we are. But as I say, this is the battle. The war will continue. What else is happening? Yeah, so Ethereum managed to get the London hard fork. That went ahead a few days ago, went ahead successfully. So essentially, we're now 3 days into Ethereum's integration of EIP 1559, is what it was called. And so I'm not going to go into all the kind of nuts and bolts of what the hard fork did. You can do that yourself if you're interested. What is interesting, I think, one of the key changes that in the hard fork that most people are excited by is this. EIP 1559 introduces two concepts known as the base fee and minor tip. So essentially, it's making the whole Ethereum user experience a little bit simpler. It's aiming to kind of clarify how people can, use gas fees to get their transactions through in a timely manner without having to pay more than they want to, right? So essentially, what they're doing is they're going to be burning some Ethereum. And so, of course, I guess the context here is, the narrative behind Bitcoin is always the 21 million Bitcoins and sound money. But Ethereum's monetary policy was a little bit different, a little bit more vague and hard to understand. And there wasn't kind of a clear hard cap on the Ethereum supply. Not necessarily still a hard cap yet, but now they're going to be burning these fees. So Ethereum is going to be burnt with every transaction. And so what we can do, this is showing how much ETH is being burned. So since, I think, 3 days ago, this hard fork went live. So yeah, 19,000, almost 19,500 ETH burned already. That's 57 million. 316 in the last hour. And again, so talking about sound money, this is kind of the meme. Ultrasound awakening. Is ETH on the verge of becoming ultrasound money? That would be quite something. So again, this is just you can watch how much ETH is being burnt per block across all the transactions. Yeah, almost 19,500 ETH all up just in the last few days. Yeah, what is ultrasound money? Ultrasound money is an Ethereum meme focusing on the likely decrease of the ETH supply. In other words, yeah, so now that ETH is being burned, the idea is the supply is more constrained and, well, number should go up. So if you want to see all this, just go find this website, ultrasound.money, and learn all about it. Interesting. What else is happening as we start to finish off? Our old friend, old mate, Naseem Taleb, yeah, just picking fights with people on the internet. For someone, who wrote the book on how to be anti-fragile, Naseem certainly seems to have slightly fragile ego and likes to get in fights. His latest fight is with Edward Snowden, of all people. And so Snowden had a go at Naseem, basically said, hey, Naseem, why are you so mean to people on the internet? And Naseem, of course, as he does, just went 0 to 100. And now, so this is a note that Naseem Taleb published earlier today. Basically, it's a takedown of Snowden. So you can read that for yourself to see the reasoning. Why did Snowden give Taleb a poke? Originally, well, you kind of need to know all the backstory here. I'm not going to go into it, but basically, Taleb had I guess he said something mean about Lynn Oldon, who did a podcast about Naseem's Bitcoin black paper. A lot of history here. So if you're not following this history, you're probably lost. But anyway, I just think it's interesting, right, to see what these guys are up to. Let's move on though. Speaking of Edward Snowden, yeah, you've probably seen what Apple are trying to do. So it has been If you look at its tweet history, he's tweeting all about this, but basically Apple, they want to roll out this mass surveillance on the iPhone network, right? By essentially turning on this technology that can scan everyone's photos in iCloud against a centralized database of, photos that you should not have. And at the moment, that is child pornography. And of course, look, everyone wants to do what they can to reduce child pornography. I guess, the worry, though, is this just turns into another incredible surveillance machine. So I like this analogy, and this is kind of where we're going. Imagine that a robot is sitting in your house to observe everything that happens in your house. And if the robot senses or sees or hears you do something that it perceives is against the moral standards of the state, then it can report you back to to the central authority. Really, what we're describing here is, that's kind of like a scene from 1984, George Orwell, right? They have that big brother watching you in your home, and we're kind of almost there, right? I'm looking into my camera on my MacBook at the moment. Who knows? It could be looking back at me. That's kind of what the Internet of Things is. So it's just, worrisome times. The surveillance state flexing again. What else? All right, Lynn Oldon again. So Lynn is she is founder of Lynn Oldon Investment Strategy, has a finance and engineering background, very smart economist, and a prominent Bitcoiner now. And this is the woman that Talib attacked the other day. Anyway, don't worry, we're not talking about Talib anymore. But Lynn wrote, this has just been released by Swan Bitcoin a few hours ago this morning as well. So it's a big piece by Lynn on why Bitcoin's energy usage isn't a problem. So as I say, I haven't really read through it yet. It's only just come out. And as you can see, it's a long piece, but this is going to be a worthwhile resource and a good argument, I suppose, I would imagine, if anyone says, hey, Bitcoin isn't boiling the oceans, destroying the planet, etc. I think you'll find some good potential arguments to help rebut that narrative in this piece. So just if we go to the research summary, overall, the main takeaways from this long report are as follows. Bitcoin provides a service that people can use to store and transfer value. And of course, if people decide that network has value, then it has value. And like anything of value, it's going to consume energy. That's just how it is. Those are the facts of life. But Bitcoin mining uses less than 0.1% of global energy. So, that's reasonably small in the scheme of things, considering how much value the Bitcoin network now contains. And of course, a sizable chunk of that energy that is used by Bitcoin is otherwise stranded or wasted energy. And, we want to see that trend continue. And of course, Bitcoin miners have that capability to go to remote locations and find that power that there's really no other use for it. So, thought that will be very much worth a read. And speaking of Lynn again, just thought this was interesting. You probably noticed the NFT market is, it's hot again. It is hot. So, and Lynn's not really big on NFTs. She says, I feel like there are better things to buy for 135 grand than a picture of a rock. So this Ethereum rock purchased for 135 grand, NFT rock. Yeah, anyway, and of course the worry from Lynn's perspective is she's not against NFTs, but it's just kind of, market forces mean that creators are probably going to make countless different creations until the market becomes saturated and diluted. So I think that is a bit of a worry, but it's a worry for another day. It's time to finish this off, and let's finish off with this new sexy photo for June. I'm getting closer. Man, who's looking forward to June? Going to be epic. going to be epic. You can watch the trailer if you haven't already. Watch the trailer. It's on YouTube. A couple of different trailers. Looks epic. Going to be good. But yeah, that is the podcast for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned something. Again, just never a dull moment in crypto, right? So yeah. All right. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the Crypto Conversation and whatever podcast app you are using. But for now, we're out of here. Thanks, everyone. Bye.